Alright, quick update on Gala. So on the daily, we are starting to come down. It almost looks like we're forming a red-green-red formation that's pushing us down. Now, if we look at this on the daily candles, you can see the pump that we had today, or, the tiny wick that we had today was another lower high from what we previously did the other day. And there's a few different ways you can slice this, because, you could try and still make the argument this could potentially be a higher low and we could be getting ready to W out. However, I would just like to highlight, if you do look at this on the 4-hourly time frame, we've got a lot of these patterns that look like they want to start a W, and then they come up into your 4-hourly EMAs and they just get absolutely slaughtered. You can see once again we tried a W here, we even tried it twice before we came up and got rejected from this. Here as well, higher low, came into the 4-hourly EMAs and got rejected. So while the price action on the much lower time frames does seem fairly decent, I would just like to highlight, you are in a huge downtrend. And, the purpose of this video isn't to say that Gala is going to be bearish forever, because I don't think it is. The purpose of this video is to look at the 4-hourly time frame, see that the downtrend has been very clear beneath this 4-hour since 25 cents. Now, people could have been dollar cost averaging this whole time all the way down from 25 cents, which isn't even like the biggest high, but we've gone down more than 50% since then. And if we zoom out to higher time frames, you can see this was really just a quick bump before we did start rolling down the table. So we've been sitting on the sidelines slash a tiny bit bearish on Gala for quite some period of time. I remember when I started covering it late February, I made my channel in January, we started checking it out in February, and I saw, a lot of people were getting bullish here. We were literally coming up, retesting your 618, we were emming out, breaking below your daily EMAs. So these EMA ribbons, there's such a clear area that we need to get above. Now, since you started this downtrend, where were we? We were all the way up here, 84 cents. This reminds me of the crypto.com chart, where you've got a huge quick run up, accumulation over a long period of time, and then, 786 gets yanked beneath your feet, and you really do just start running towards the floor. So I'm not the biggest fan of the chart that we've got on Gala right now. I do think it is a good long-term hold, but nonetheless, that doesn't mean that you should try and catch a falling knife on this when we're clearly in such a downtrend. If you just look at your momentum indicators, like I said, looking at this from an unbiased perspective, bears clearly have control of this downtrend. Now, your oscillators are saying a slightly different story, because if we look at the money flow indicator, this recently bottomed at 11, and that is the lowest that it's ever been. We only came down here one other time. Every other time we've bottomed above 11. On your relative strength index, we recently came down to 23. So, and once again, this was a region that we have bottomed down here twice. Every other time we had higher bottoms. So we're coming down to oversold levels that Gala has not seen in a very long time. So when I say this video, and when I say at this moment in time Gala's bearish, I do think we are going to have a momentum shift very soon. Now, bear in mind, the Fed meeting, I've talked about this in all my altcoin videos, I talked about this yesterday, the Fed meeting isn't going to be wrapped up until the 4th, potentially even the 5th. So we've got at least another 48 hours worth of the market sitting in fear. Now, I've been in the markets for many years, and in the past year, since this quantitative easing thing has just been blowing out the water, every time we have a Federal Reserve meeting, the price goes into a dumpy phase, and it only recovers the day that the Federal Reserve meeting is done. So Bitcoin is getting chopped out. The past week we've been chopping to the downside because of this Fed meeting, in my opinion. And once this Fed meeting's done, I think this will return confidence to the market. So look, all I'm saying is, we look at the chart from a technical perspective, you're below your 786 Fibonacci, so this uptrend is invalidated from a technical perspective. From the perspective of your oscillators and looking at your momentum and how oversold we are, I really do think that this region around here for Gala is going to be the bottom. And notice how I've included a tiny bit to the downside, because I don't necessarily think the price we're at this moment in time has to be the bottom. We can come lower, before we do get better. I mean, bear in mind, we've only recently had a huge rejection from your 786. You know, the first time you had a 786 rejection, you confirmed the 618 as resistance, you broke back down very harshly, rejected off the 786 again, and then you broke down. So we could be getting chopped around these regions for quite some period of time. So, you know, what I try and do in my videos is I look at the trend from an unbiased perspective, and I acknowledge that, you know, all the bearish momentum is there. You know, on the weekly time frame, if we look at your oscillators on a slightly higher time frame, it might be interesting. Your oscillators are kind of chilling around. Collectively, they're both neutral, because your money flow indicator is just above the heart line, your RSI is just below the heart line. So collectively, we are in a pretty neutral phase right now after this huge run up. I do think, you know, like I said, because these higher time frames, you can still come down a little bit. So I wouldn't be trying to catch the falling knife right now. If you were a huge Gala fan and you like literally have to insist on DCAing, obviously not financial advice, you can do whatever you want. I'm not here to make you do one thing or the other either way. But if I was you and I was really looking to DCA Gala, I would 100% wait until the end of the Fed meeting on the 3rd or the 4th. We could dump into the market, and then on the day of the Fed meeting we could be out of here. And either way, you know, if we just look at these 4-hourly EMAs, a pump above the 4-hourly EMA at 15 cent is really all we need to see that at least in the short term this momentum could have subsided. So you'd only be missing out on a 13% drop. And then you zoom out and you realize that, you know, these trend lines, we've been stuck underneath them for the longest period of time. And depending on which ones you look on, we never have a successful backtest. In fact, this one was quite arguable because we backtested them, and we actually came up and made a lower high at this point. So I would imagine probably the safest thing to do is wait for a daily break, wait for a backtest, and then make a higher low. So for example, you know, once you're above your 4-hourly EMAs, let's get above your dailies at 19 cent, and then let's push above that previous region where we topped out before. I think at which point we could be a lot more certain that Gala is bullish. And, you know, I always say this in my altcoin videos because, you know, the trend is your friend until the end, and we're clearly in such a huge downtrend right now. I mean, a lot of people probably would have decided now is the time to try and catch the bottom at these regions. But the market is not so forgiving. A lot of people think they can buy the exact bottom. I used to be one of those people in the crypto market, and I'm telling you right now, it does not matter how good of a trader you are. 99.99999% of the time, you will not catch the exact bottom. Most people don't catch the exact bottom. I've been trading stocks for years, then I moved on to crypto trading. I've been trading precious metals, stocks, crypto, NFTs. You are not going to be able to catch the exact bottom. That is what I'm trying to tell you. There are very few people that get their orders filled at the exact bottom. You've got to imagine, you know, like when Bitcoin is coming down much higher time frames. Let's zoom out. So, you know, from this most recent, you know, when we came up to 63,000, not the all-time high, when we came from 63,000 and we came down to exactly 29,000, how many people do you think got their sell orders in this wick? I'm telling you, not a lot of people, because you can see it was bought up so quickly. The amount of people that bought Bitcoin at this exact bottom is a very small percentage compared to the amount of people that DCA'd the downtrend and DCA'd the uptrend. So it's the same for Gala. We have not got a confirmed bottom. We're still stuck below EMA ribbons. I would definitely be sitting this one out. On your hourly time frame as well, like, you know, if you do want to get ahead of yourself and look at the lower time frames to see if we could have potentially broken bullish, bear in mind, you know, I wouldn't even get out of bed for Gala until Gala's taken out at least the high 14 cents, you know, pushing up to that 15 cent region. To be fair, 15 cents a bit far away. So to be fair, once you get above these tops, 14 cent, 0.79, you can be a little bit more certain that the bottom is in for Gala. But at this moment in time, we haven't seen any bottoming signals, so I don't plan on trying to catch the falling knife on this. That's all I've got for Gala. Bear in mind, your oscillators are saying the bottom is near. The Bitcoin logarithmic growth curves are saying the bottom is near because Bitcoin is down at the lowest Fibonacci that we've got before we become down to 1 deviation oversold. Historically, 1 deviation oversold is always the bottom for Bitcoin. So I don't think this time's going to be any different. I do think the bottom is near for Gala. Does that mean that Gala can't do something like this before reversing? No, it doesn't, which is why I'm saying I'm going to wait for the Fed meeting. Let me know what you think of that down below. Are you waiting for the Fed meeting to end between the 3rd and the 4th? I've seen pretty much every crypto dump like absolute crazy over the past couple of days. And for the past 5 to 7 days, we've really been hammering in, sitting on the sidelines while we're waiting for this Fed meeting. And if you did listen, if you are waiting as well, congratulations, because pretty much every single altcoin we've been looking at is much cheaper since this last week coming into the Fed meeting. That's all I've got for you today. I will be updating you once we come out of the Fed meeting. I do imagine confidence will return in the markets. I honestly think something like this is going to happen for Gala, where we're going to chop around for the next couple of days. We come into the Fed meeting on the 4th, and then, you know, boom, I think confidence is going to return very, very quickly. I'm going to be getting ready to buy the second that retail volume starts rushing back through the doors. I am not going to be buying when, you know, we're waiting for the Fed meeting and we're basically just a sitting duck in a field full of hunters. So that is all I've got for Gala. I do think the bottom is near. DCA might be a good idea if you're a long-term holder. For me, I am a short-term investor in these altcoins, and I do not plan on buying until after the Fed meeting. That's all I've got for you. Cowboy out, not financial advice, and as always, peace.